Right then, this is 5 things that we learned watching Manchester United. It was boring. It was difficult to stay awake. Against Wolverhampton in the FA Cup replay. Number 1, magical Juan Mata. 2 assists last week, 1 goal last night. Juan Mata, hang on, let's go back. Big shout out to Tony Marshall for the hold-up play and the real intelligent release of his pass. That set Mata free. The finish, I hope none of you were under 18 watching that because that was fucking porn. Unbelievable finish from Juan Mata. What a way to win a game. It was a dull game apart from that. To be honest, United did create a couple of chances, but nothing really solid and concrete, and we certainly didn't wipe the floor with them. It was a very even sort of game of football, worryingly. Juan Mata, though, rolling back the years, is Juan Mata one of the examples of how to manage an older player? I mean, it feels like I'm talking about him being 38, but he's like 31, isn't he? He's not even that old, but what he is pretty he's pretty slow. But that being said, none of the Wolves back four could catch him. That was unbelievable how he managed to keep in front of all them. Anyway, Juan Mata, look, I am happy to see Juan Mata in a game where we're likely to have more possession, and we definitely need someone with a bit more of a delicate touch, a little bit of finesse that they can throw into the box to create chances, or as we saw against Wolves, finish chances. My issue with playing Juan Mata is that when we come up against one of those big 4, big 6 teams that's likely to have more possession than us, and we need to hit them on the counter, Juan Mata's pace, usually, is a bit of an issue. I also don't think he's the best in terms of having a press, but he's playing decent, and when utilised right, he's an absolutely fantastic member of the squad to have around, and he's very experienced, so I got absolutely zero issues with him. Absolutely magic. If we can continue to use him correctly going forward, then we've got an absolutely brilliant squad player on our hands. Number 2, fullbacks, solid. Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side, 4 tackles, which is more than anybody else. More take-ons than anybody else with 4 as well. Brandon Williams didn't get dribbled past, and considering he had Neto and Traore, he had a real tussle with both of those. Didn't get dribbled past, which is a mad one because he was actually out of position quite a lot. I think the freedom that he's being given to go and attack and help create chances going forward is a massive bonus, and it's one of the things that he definitely brings to this side, as well as the grit and determination which you are never going to not have with Brandon. But he was quite high up the pitch, and his positioning at times I thought could have been a little bit better. Shout out here to Man Utd, because Man Utd would just slip into that left-hand channel whenever Brandon did push forward and mop up quite nicely. It sort of complemented each other really well. The amount of clean sheets that Brandon's got in his last 7 starts is 6, but also Man Utd has got 5 in his last 6 starts as well. So 2 players there that have come into the team and absolutely massively helped, and 2 players at the start of the season we didn't really think he was going to get a whole lot out of. Totally different contrasting reasons for that. On one, we hoped we might see loads of Brandon, but didn't think you would because Luke Shaw and Ashley Young sort of occupy those positions. And with Nemanja Matic, didn't think we would see him because it looked like we were trying to sell him. And actually, last season, he looked totally finished. Is that one of those arguments that you often hear with Sanchez and maybe even with Jesse Lingard, actually, that they've not quite been the same since the World Cup? I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest players really need some breaks, and that could be one of them. Number 3, poor injury management. There's obviously the argument that Paul Pogba was played when he wasn't quite fit, and that's exacerbated or reacted or whatever it's happened to this injury that he's currently out dealing with now. Marcus Rashford on the bench. I don't have an issue with him coming on because we really needed to go and get a goal, and and it made sense at least in that front. But it's more the fact that Marcus has been playing with injuries for so long that he desperately needed a night off. And that again is down to the squad management, and that again goes down to the board for not bringing in replacements for players that have allowed to go. Because there's pressure on Marcus to turn up every single week. He's been playing pretty much injured since Henderson tried to take his ankle off him. Marcus is always going to turn up. Marcus is always going to put his body on the line. Marcus is always going to put himself in harm's way. He's also highly tuned, and someone that sprints as fast as he can. Muscle injuries, when there's a little bit of an imbalance, are going to come quickly for him. So I want to see Marcus rested. I want to see him get back to full fitness. We desperately need him to perform. With the games coming thick and fast, we need a match winner like Marcus, and I do worry now going to Anfield, if he's not 100% fit, have we lost any sort of X factor that we might have had that might have pushed us over the line in what's already going to be a monumentally difficult task? So, not necessarily blaming Ollie on this, but the players, the medical staff and Ollie, all three of them need to come together and be honest and real and sensible when it comes to assessing, preventing and dealing with players that are injured and injuries that they've got that keep recurring. Number 4, the cup run is on. Now, when you look at this cup and you're like, okay, all right, get it, man. We took a replay in essentially our first round, and we've still got a long old way to go before we're going to be anywhere near an FA Cup final and talk about winning one of those. But Manchester United have been better against the better sides this season. We do seem more equipped to come up and deal with those sides than we do against teams that we're probably expected to beat. Someone like Wolves, who's a team that's almost comparable to where we are at the moment, and possibly even Arsenal, a team that's in and around where we are. Those are the games where United look their absolute worst. For me, the League Cup aside, that was something else. But Manchester United have dealt very effectively with the teams that are above us. And I think a league, you need some real consistency to be able to go and do anything in the league. And we don't have it. But a cup competition, a one-off game, I genuinely believe, even with some of the injuries that we've got, this Manchester United team is capable of turning up and beating anybody. And I don't say that lightly. I know I'm getting clipped up for that when we lose the next game, probably against Tranmere. But Manchester United can turn up and can beat anybody. The difference is actually going and getting that done. And you still need a level of consistency in the cup competition. But you can always fluke a semi or a final appearance in a cup competition that you simply can't do in a league. The league, it weeds out all of that flukiness. The inconsistency tells over the course of a season, but when you've only got to win 4 or 5 games to be able to get yourself into a final, you can do that and you can fluke that. And I'm not saying that if United got to a final, it would be fluky, because we'll have earned our right to be there. But you can ride your luck a little bit better in a cup competition than you can in a league. And I think this Manchester United team and this Manchester United manager would really benefit from picking up some silverware. So let's have a real go for it. Let's not necessarily put all our eggs in that basket, because I still think the measure of a team should be where you finish in a league. But I'll ask you guys, if we came fourth with this young team and we took them to Wembley and we won an FA Cup, you'd leave this season feeling pretty damn good about yourself, wouldn't you? Because I know I would. Number 5, Sergio Romero is the best number 2 in the world. Ever. Fact. 53 games for Manchester United. 34 clean sheets. 34 clean sheets. Obviously another one against Wolves. Only conceded 24 goals as a Manchester United goalkeeper in 53 games. It's unbelievable. Clean sheet in his last 5. Bringing him into that game last night gave David De Gea the opportunity to have a night off. And with a player that's got all sorts going on, form's a little bit up and down, I think a night off would have been brilliant. And it was a genuine night off as well. It wasn't even the squad. He didn't go to the team hotel. Proper night off, feet up. Probably watch a bit of Doomsday Preppers on Netflix. David De Gea, clearly our number 1 at the moment. But when it comes to Sergio Romero, you've just got an absolute dependable number 2. I've seen people making arguments that he might even be better than De Gea because his distribution's there. And you might have a point. And he certainly feels a little bit more dependable in a couple of situations like corners and playing out from the back than David De Gea does. Either way, I don't want to get into an argument about shall we start Romero, shall we go with De Gea. For me, De Gea's earned the right to be a bit shit and to be played through that period where he's off form, because he's been so monumentally good for us. But in Sergio Romero, we've got an absolute lad who clearly loves playing for Manchester United, whose own international manager was like, "What are you doing, you absolute crank? Leave and go and play football somewhere." And he's like, "Nah, like it." I love that about Sergio Romero. It just shows how absolutely not roofed in he is. And that is absolutely fantastic for me. So that's all I'm going to say on that front. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want the inside track of what's going on with all the transfers in the transfer window, then you need to check the link in the description for my Patreon group. The Bruno Fernandes agreeing terms was in there quite a while ago. I think it was about a week ago. So if you want the inside track on what is going on with all of the transfers, hit the link in the description. And I'll see you in there. Laters.